For our spiritual enlightenment, it is these equipments only which we have, which may be limited, but they have to be tuned up in such a way that in this life itself we can attain that supreme happiness for which we have been taking birth after birth after birth after birth. We have seen yesterday also that health is our natural state. Now, since it is our natural state, whatever takes us away from our natural state, or that which is added and because of which the imbalance has taken place, if we in our lives remove those things that cause us ill health, or introduce that which will create the right balance, then health is our natural state. Simple thing is, if we stop polluting the air or the river, stop polluting it will clean by itself. Something's not right with the mic, please. It will clean by itself. It will clean by itself. Same way, if we stop polluting this body, it will find its natural state of health. Animals cannot go beyond the laws of nature. But human beings have got the intellect, and therefore we can progress faster also, and we can even harm ourselves or harm other creatures, people of the world. Therefore, dharma and its implication is very vast. But that right way of living by which we attain peace and happiness, and the society also benefits from our living. This is called as dharma. We started yesterday that the Bhagavad-Gita also, which is the highest book of spiritual science. But our sciences in India are integrated with every aspect of our life. In fact, every personality, every equipment of ours. It's an integrated knowledge system, not compartmentalized, not linear or horizontal. This is the greatness of our knowledge system. This doesn't say that any other knowledge system is bad or wrong. It's only comparatively limited. Therefore, even as far as our goals of life are concerned, our rishis taught us, even if you do Hanuman Chalisa, if you study the Bhagavad-Gita, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. This is all that every human being aspires for. Wealth, pleasures, a world of like heaven, conducive world, and finally freedom. Freedom from our own limitations. Isn't it? Our scriptures are not even otherworldly. If you read Taittiriya Kushalana pramaditavyam, bhutyaina pramaditavyam. Do not neglect your prosperity. Do not neglect your well-being. Our yoga, starting from yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, also physical attunement. But for what? That is important. If you are doing only yoga to slim down, then it is not yoga. You may be doing the yoga asanas, but it is not yoga. Yoga means that which unites you with your true nature. That's why even at the physical level, that which unites you with your natural state, that which brings about, we have seen, not only good health, but energy, dynamism, vitality, by which you can express the full potential of your body in your work. That is called as yoga at the physical level. Again, for what is physical health? For what health is work? All this we have to understand, by which we can attain the sense of well-being, peace and happiness, which we all want. But we think by getting more wealth we will get it. We pursued it all our life. If we continue to do what we were doing, we will continue to get what we were getting. Disappointment and frustration. Isn't it? Therefore, yesterday we explained that even in the Bhagavad-Gita, which is giving us the highest spiritual knowledge, but also the means by which we can attain that supreme happiness. And starting with the equipment that we have is this body with which we interact with the world, perform our actions, and through which we perceive the sense objects, our experiences. Now, not going in detail in that, we have seen also that if there is good health physically, even there is mental well-being. Pujya Gurudev, echoing what the Rishi said, that the physical body is the grossification of your mind's thoughts. As your mind, so is your body. It's a grossification of your thoughts. That's why people can do face reading, they can understand body language. Is it not? Even what type of nose you have can tell you what your character is. And you don't judge because you don't know the science. Just because somebody got a crooked nose doesn't mean the person is crooked. It It means something totally different. Simple thing also you can see. No? Suppose a person is constantly tensed and worried. How will that person look? And over a period of time, that becomes a habit to look like that, is it not? When a person is angry, how does that person look? I'm continuously angry, what will be the look of that person? Even now, just say, just say to your mind that I am angry and irritated. See how your muscles tense up? Just think about it. And if continuously you think like this, can you imagine how your body will be? Mind and body has got a link. At the same time, the condition of your body also, just like we said, when there is ill health, mind also gets agitated. Now, if you sit here also, and in one of the preliminary books Gurudev has given, these very simple but very, very powerful tools. In Kindle Life, he points out, if you stand and please experiment it, don't take anything blind. Experiment, stand in front of the mirror and keep looking at yourself. Just see yourself for 5 minutes like that. See what the condition of your mind becomes. So our body, physical body and the food that we eat. Yesterday, just to summarize, first of all, when do we eat? When there is the heat, the sunlight. That's why in winter also digestion becomes weak. Where there is sunlight, that is the time to eat. Not when there is no sunlight. We've also seen, right, how much to eat, which is very important. Half the stomach with solids, not up to here. Like when sometimes we go to buffet. That was just fine. Don't eat after here. Fill half your stomach. These are measures. Today, as I said, you have calorie count, etc. You can do that. But fill your stomach half with solid, water with liquids, and water leaves the prana, the air, to circulate, to digest it. Because the stomach churns the food. If there is no place for the churning, the juices don't mix properly, the air does not oxidize it. I'm talking in just modern science. How much do we eat? Then I said also, what do we eat? Actually, according to the climatic condition, nature provides us the right vegetables, food, etc. Even the grains, which are grown in winter or in, cold places, generally they are not suitable for hot places. That's why we have been careful on going on this complete millet diet. Millet is good. Even wheat is good, it's not bad. But how traditionally we used to eat even millets, those who specially come from millet eating areas like Gujarat, it is with ghee and with chas. Otherwise it can be heat. And if you see, even if you go on a certain diet, watch your own body. There may be times of detoxification, weight loss or something like that, but watch it. If it creates constipation, if it creates bleeding, which means it's too hot for your system. In Ayurveda, there is complete understanding of what kind of body you have, which has got predominantly vata, air and coldness, pitta, fire, kapha, coolness, dampness and matter, mucus. It's not the physical mucus. Don't understand it because we do not understand this. Anyway, we don't want to go too much into that right now, but understand the beauty of those sciences. And even our ethnic diets, as I said, last 50 years, we've all been anglicized, and a lot of those habits, which may be very good for England, but may not be very good for India. Please understand that. Same way, when you are moving to another country, your body is made according to your country. It is being brought up according to your diet. Now, if you are in the south of India or any tropical place or etc., you will see not only in India, Indonesia, Africa, the equatorial to tropical belt is the spice belt. The food will be more spicy. But in a cold place, you eat spices, it is going to be harmful to your body. Now, don't get into a paranoid state. Body has an amazing way of balancing itself, and we find our own balances. That's why please don't think that any fad diet that newly has come out. If we follow our ethnic diets and adjust it according to the climate. Today we don't even have the knowledge, but our grandmothers had that knowledge. Now it's winter. Before winter starts, they used to have the oil application. And today in our festivals, it is integrated. That on Diwali, the story will be that Krishna fought with Narakasur, but you should have an oil bath. Even one oil bath at the change of the season will prevent sometimes arthritis from setting in. In North India, they would use mustard oil. In South India, they use sesame oil, not coconut oil. Coconut oil should be where there is a warmer climate. Therefore, please, later on then they will say coconut oil like soya causes problem. It's a cooling oil. Therefore, in a hot, humid place like Kerala, coconut oil is good. But as far as intake is concerned also, each place has got its oils. This is just for you to understand that sometimes we go on these so-called diets, health diet, etc., which how many times you all have gone through 3 decades of these kind of clinically proven, latest diet, scientific pudding, and they only then later on contradict it. So wake up. Our Rishi culture is that which has been tested over a period of time is authentic. Even actually to prove a medicine without side effects takes 20 years. That's why every 5 years a new medicine comes up saying that the previous had side effects and this has got no side effects, which again after 5 years they're going to bring out and say that it has got side effects. One thing my childhood my father had taught me, दुनिया में बेवकूफों की कोई कमी नहीं. If it has to go through the test to be sure, are we giving it that much time? It's not that everything from the past is necessarily good, because things have deteriorated. No? It may have. But to reject the past, where everything in the past is old-fashioned, on the contrary, that which is sanatan, that which has been tested over a period of time. They said that ghee causes all these problems. Today they find out those oils which they introduced as to be good for the heart are the cause of inflammation, which is the cause of the heart diseases. See? So don't get away from your roots. Dwell into your roots to find out what is the perfect diet for you. At the same time, our body is an amazing equipment that changes according to the climates, which gives you signals also as to what is suitable here and what is not suitable for you. So to become a bit please do not become paranoid. Observe your body. Therefore, what we eat is important. How it has effect on our mind, I will point out. But what should be your attitude towards food? That's why in Bhagavad-Gita even that is said, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Pranina Dehamashitaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachamyannam Chaturvidam. And we chant this before eating a meal. If that attitude it is that it is Bhagwan who is digesting our food, and food is a yajna that we are offering for the sacred fire to digest, assimilate, and to provide each limb its right vitality, what will be put inside his body? This sacred Havan Kund of this body, the sacred temple of this body. We have made this body into a nightclub. That body is criticized. But as Goswami Tulsidas ji says, Sadhana dham virad durlabh tan sohi kripa kar dino haritum bahut anugrah. We think that in Vedanta I said, oh, this body, this body I am not there. It's not to neglect the body. That is to make you understand that you are not the body. Not to condemn the body. At the same time, not that you overemphasize that I am the body and only go on feeding this body. And that is the preoccupation of most people in life, because they think that survival is only as long as this body is there. And therefore in the Bhagavad-Gita it points out that you are much more than this body. And even your mind continues after this body. So then what to talk about the Atma, the consciousness. And therefore, before eating, in other religions also there is grace. And we are grateful to God for the food. But we chant Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir, and please do that. It's not that your children just do it Balvihar, or when you come to the ashram you chant it. At home before your meal, when you look at the meal, you chant Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir. And of course, the meaning is there, know the meaning. Today you don't have to say that I don't know the meaning what I am chanting. What is the right attitude to your food? That food is also Narayana, Brahman. The instruments which you eat, and normally the instrument, I was surprised, I was asked to speak for our YouTube channel, and the questions that are coming from our youth. Why do Indians eat with their hand? If you could eat with your leg, eat. Even now, burgers do you eat with what? Knife and spoon. Why do Indians with their hand? Look at the type what we have done to our children and our youth. I don't blame them. That they are ashamed to eat with the hand. And you spend millions of dollars sending them to those places where they will get complexes. What else did we use? Even fork and spoon, you eat with your hands, or fork and spoon are One day it might become remote. And they will feed you robotics, that's what we are making, so that you don't have to do anything. Therefore, how you eat the food, with what attitude you eat the food. Never say, annam nanindya tad vratam. Do not waste food. While eating, don't say, I don't want to eat this. How much you eat of whatever food is in your hand, but what food comes to you, how much you eat, what you eat out of is there. What is harmful for you, don't eat it. But out of your likes and dislikes, you say something as cheap. But this is Indian. I want pasta. And then when they become teenagers, pasta is carbs. We've all done it, don't say today's teenagers. You have done it, I have done it. I'm not talking about today's teenagers. That's how important it is that from childhood, they're given a culture. They have respect for their culture. They have pride in their culture. That nobody can give them complexes. To eat unhealthy food which has been marketed. Also food when it is prepared. That's why in olden times, in the kitchen only certain people were allowed. Because the thought goes into the food and the subtle part of the food becomes your thought. Even in Japanese courses I heard this. And therefore eating in restaurants etc. where people are just grumbling, it's just a job for them. Who cooks the food? Why even now you can go to any fine dining restaurant. But what our grandmother cooks, or what our mother when she has grown older cooks for her grandchildren and you get a chance of eating your children's food. Isn't there some magic that nourishes us more than any restaurant food or any calorie measured diet? How confidently our grandmothers say, eat, you'll not put on weight. Eat, you'll not be sick. And it is true. You eat in a restaurant, next day you weigh yourself. I'm just talking about weight. At the moment, weight is the most important thing for most people. And again, according to your body type and age, please understand certain weight is necessary. Don't go by these criteria, you know. The subtle part of what goes into the food. That's why it is said that even when you cook, do some mantra chanting. Why do you go sometimes to temples for prasad besides your attitude? And particularly if you go to a gurudwara. What is that magic in that food? I have made many times rotis there like a map of India, very patriotic, half cooked. Yet, that devotion, that love that goes into it, that nourishes the subtle aspect of food. Again, you say, this is all superstition, this is all. When the Japanese in their laboratory show what crystals are formed when there are certain emotions. These are all on the internet if you don't want to believe, because this is religion, this is spirituality, and you brushed it off. Even some of the professors 25 years ago in in this country have told me all these things. That we brush this off all as religion and then it is to be done while you're dying. Every aspect of our life. So with what attitude we eat food and with what attitude we cook food and with what attitude we serve food. That goes to make our mind. Now even if you don't understand through Ayurveda and through this, even modern courses that point out the balance of sodium and potassium in your body and the diseases it causes. You've heard that, acid and alkaline. It's only to prove that food has an effect on your mind. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, such food will be desired by or eaten by those who are sattvic. Food is not sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Which means sattvic people find this food comfortable to make them remain in sattva. In the Ramayana there is a beautiful example also that when Bharat comes with the whole army to plead to Ramchandraji to come back, he's come with the whole army right after his mother has exiled Ramchandraji to the forest. Guha, he knows that Ramchandraji praises Bharat so much. And Bharat could not do anything, but he wants to be sure because he's protective about Ramchandraji. So he sends 3 baskets of food. One with fruits, berries, roots, vegetables. The other with meat, spices, etc. Doesn't mean spices are bad. Which spices we eat also. Not every spice. Meat, etc. And the other, very putrefied food, kept food, alcohol, etc. Because according to their mood is what they would be eating. And when they talk fruits, etc., they know that they have come with a sattvic, pure attitude. But these are just thrown in. Because it was just very much part of our upbringing and culture. And no elaborate explanations were required. Therefore, what type of food we eat? In the army, when you are aggressive, you have to fight, etc., they will require high proteins, etc. But those who are spiritual, those who are working at home, those who are using their intellect, sattva is there in intellect. Therefore, what type of food we should eat? Therefore, food also contributes to the well-being of your mind. And as I said yesterday, even what we see, we hear, what we smell, what we taste. The moment you gossip and criticize, first thing you have to hear it. And whatever you keep on hearing, criticisms, etc., you have to hear it first. And as you keep on repeating yourself negativities, your mind becomes negative. Therefore, your environment matters. Now, well-being of the mind, plenty things can be said. But few things which I will be pointing out here, again from the Bhagavad-Gita, so that you don't think this is some kind of a superficial, motivating diet, spa course. Food is essential, what comes through our senses. Vasheli yasyendriyani tasya pragya pratishtita. Even if we may have deep knowledge of Vedanta, if our senses are not under our discriminative regulation, then what enters through our senses pollutes our mind. And same way, just as what we put into this body as food disturbs our balance and creates dis-ease. See the word dis-ease? Disease is dis-ease, and mentally also it causes dis-ease. Therefore, anything that agitates your mind, disturbs your mind, dullens your mind, affects the well-being and the natural state of your mind. Today we think the natural state of our mind is agitations, aggression, worries, stress, anxiety. If it was our natural state, we wouldn't want peace. Still, why are you taking all the pills for peace? Thank God most of you don't. Because you don't need it. Because you've got a well-being program in our centers. So, why do you take that? Because you want peace of mind. You want a stress-free life. You worry, but you do not want worries. But you think if the world situation would change, your worries would end. No. We worry because we don't know what else to do. I'm telling you. In my life management techniques, I've given a number of these worry examples, the psychology of it. When I started taking sessions on the Bhagavad-Gita, they sent me to Hong Kong and then various places. So when I used to have my regular classes pretty much every day for the ladies in the daytime, those who are housewives who are not working, then for the other ladies, and men who are working in the evening. So we were having Bhagavad-Gita sessions. After a year, one lady who sincerely attended every session that she had attended on that topic, one day she calls me up and she says, Brahmachariji, I'm so glad that Gurudev has sent you here. I do not know about everybody, but ever since I have heard the Bhagavad-Gita, there's been such an improvement in me which I can see, and even my husband and children say so. If their spouse says so, which means you have. Ourselves, so we can think. The people also roaming around as if they are realized. So nobody can tell anything. You can delude yourself. Progress quite a lot. But you're dear and you're, at the same time, if they do criticize for their convenience, don't take it too seriously. Actually, you just went to this Gita talk and you came with medical well-being, and since we have not done the dishes and you're coming and scolding us, what have you done? Then tomorrow you say, see, I got angry, that's why I did not come. You should get angry at that time. Show anger, not get angry. So please understand that our mental well-being. So this lady said, so I also said, so how have you improved? She said, no, I have to worry about every small thing. What the servants are eating in the kitchen, how much they are eating, when the children went out, what will happen to them. All these things I have to worry about. Now I don't worry about these small things. I was glad that she said small things. I do not worry about anything. Because they always speak in absolute. That's why America also has come. Absolutely. What is absolute? So I absolutely don't worry. However, I was waiting for that but. And she said, but Swamiji, I've got one problem. I said, what? She says, now I'm worried that I don't worry. And I'm telling you, that is a problem of everybody. Because you don't have other form of mental issues, but worries first then. One thing is worried, will my child get first ranking, will get A grade? The worst is putting that worry into your children. When you send them for the examination, do not worry. Trust your upbringing. But we worry. I'm taking up this topic in life management technique by taking up the word worry only, in which the cause of our worry is there as well as the solution to our worry is there. Now, these are available on our Chinmaya YouTube channel or Chinmaya Clicks, which is a subscribe channel, but very reasonable. All of you subscribe. You can get so much material sometimes. But don't think that that replaces any person to person. But you can get, because there's so many topics. Now in 3 days, how much can I cover? I'm taking the essential that will be useful to you. When Bhagavan says, Ma Sucha, do not grieve, do not worry. He has given the answer. Like that to tell someone, don't worry. You'll worry. How will I not worry? That is not how. After having given all the explanation, do not grieve. Now we all want happiness, we want all peace. What agitates our mind, if we can reduce that, the natural state of our mind is peace. Now what I am telling you is from Ashtavakra Gita. But in simple words. Aprayatnat prayatnadva mudho napnoti nirvritim tattva nishchaya matrena pragyo bhavati nirvritaha. That neither by struggling or not struggling, one attains peace. But by knowing the truth, the wise one instantly not only attains peace, becomes peace. Bhavati nirvrita. The depth of those not attains peace but becomes peace itself. I remember a beautiful letter, again, go on to our Chinmaya Archives website from CCMT website. Beautiful letter that Gurudev had written to Sri Taponji Maharaj. He had gone to Ramana Maharishi and experienced the peace. And about him, it seems Ramana Maharishi person said, the one who leaves from here is not the one who came here. And Gurudev wrote to Taponji Maharaj that in such a person's presence you feel such peace. Then why don't these people teach? Why don't they teach the masses? And Taponji Maharaj writes so beautifully that some masters, there are two types of masters, like our Gurudev, out of their compassion they come and teach. But even in his presence, our mind becomes so still, we don't need any evidence. But Taponji Maharaj writes to them that having attained the infinite, these sages become quiet. But those saints which are established in that state become peace themselves. And that is our natural state which is gained through discovering ourselves. which we'll see on the last day, spiritual health, well-being. But for that, the equipment we have is our Antakarana, the subtle body, which is made up of mind, intellect, memory, and the sense of identification, the ego. But we are aware of this mind and intellect. Now, even between the mind and intellect, what is the relationship? Both are made up of thoughts, please understand. What is the difference? They say sankalpa, vikalpa, manaha, nishchayatmika, buddhi. All this we keep on saying, but what is the real implication of it? Just giving definitions and knowing definitions. Therefore, different books, Shankaracharya himself has given different explanation of what is not, different definitions, but different because the many facets of the mind and intellect. And we stick to only one definition. That's why, some philosophies you have to be definitive and they become, and also another meaning is if you are definitive, it's not philosophy. That's how you're being taught. If the truth is not definitive, it is not the truth. But to understand the infinite, the many facets of our vast personality that is required to understand or to abide in the infinite, mind and intellect is your means. Therefore, Kathopanishad, with the mind, it has to be known. In the mind only, Brahmakar Buddhi takes place for those who are Vedantic students, etc. But don't worry about that right now. We go into high philosophy, but the essential means by which we can make this mind balance and the intellect. Please do not think that being intellectual is being intelligent. Just because you question and you defy, you criticize. Don't say an atheist is a intelligent person and you all believers are intelligent. An atheist is one who believes in the non-existence of God. That is what they understand as theism. Believes, not knows. How different is he from any other believer? Your blind belief in the name science today, without not even understanding what is science. Our rishis did not only pointed out that mighty state of peace and happiness which is your own nature, tat tvam asi. And how you are one with everyone. Same way to understand that the intellect, which we out of courtesy say the gross intellect, which is really not even intellect. Because even in life, to know what is good for us and what is harmful to us, what is right and what is wrong, its consequences will be conducive and inconducive. Again, for greater study, please take our book, or now available online also, Destiny, Who is in Charge. Why do good people suffer? Why it is so called the highly intellectual and the universities in which everybody aims for the highest of marks and achievements in academics, anywhere in the world, has the maximum suicide rates and addictions. I'm not saying all of them. Relatively has the maximum of it. And why in some lower kind of, achieving schools also, because there are those kind of people there, that's why they are not achieving it. Today I said how much is being spoken about mental health. And first and foremost, I'm requesting all you parents here, what environment you give your children, what peers you move around with, which education system that you put them into, and at the same time, you all want the well-being of your children. But well-being of your children will come from their values, the virtues that go to bring their character, build their character, their pride in their natural identity. And at the same time, every person cannot be good at every subject, including you. It's not that when you do well, you can't get more marks. Marks is not the criteria. We know today the education system is like that you need to think about marks, etc., so that they get a better university, then they will get a job. You know, even in this country, the richest people are dropouts from university. This doesn't mean dropouts will be rich. Right? Because even criteria to become rich is not the amount of degree you have. Your success in the world is not only dependent upon how much information that you think is knowledge you have gathered. Today, they have brought out the word emotional intelligence. But ask them to define it, they won't. But you see it in your home, and particularly our mothers have that even dads have to refer to them when it comes to emotional issues. That has its own intelligence. So intelligence devoid of emotions is diabolic. If you read anywhere in the Ramayana, including Hanuman Chalisa, Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatu, where Vidya or Buddhi is used, side by. Bala Buddhi Vidya Dehu Muni. Jnana Guna Sagar. Guna is always with Jnana. Otherwise, we have knowledge of nuclear energy, and what have we done with that? Mainly used it to destroy the world, is it not? Mainly. If our knowledge and intelligence is not with virtues, it's diabolical. Our concentration, everybody is into meditation nowadays, but without the virtues of the mind, that type of concentration that people call as meditation will only intensify whatever qualities they have in their mind. Mind you, Rava Kumbhakaran, including Hitler, as well as the great people, Ramchandraji, even India's stalwarts, Lokmanya Tilak, Mahatma Gandhi, Veer Savarkar, these were people of concentration, focus, determination, conviction. And so was Ram. What made the difference? It's the virtues that made the difference. Therefore, training really starts with what atmosphere we give to the child in the womb. And throughout the upbringing, that's why now we don't even have Bal Vihar, we've got Shishu Vihar. And let me tell you, we have just announced, and I hope you got to know it, but if you've not got to know it, Garbha Samskar. We don't call it Garbha Vihar. Today, many of our young mothers who've come outside to work, even parents or in-laws are not there. Prenatal education, which is being used today in Russia, Japan, etc., and was there in all old cultures also, but which is taken to a level of the highest science as we see in Mahabharata, in Bhagavad-Gita, of Prahlad and of Abhimanyu, both in the field of spirituality as well as in the performance of your duties efficiently. The West speaks about genes, and now they are talking about genes being switched on and switched off, but not understanding that our minds, our environment, and our mental atmosphere and the atmosphere we give to the minds of our children. Tomorrow I will elaborate during the inauguration of our new wing of the center. So please do come and bring your families for the inauguration. It will be a continuation of this talk, but I'll take it as a separate talk and elaborate on this aspect, which is a continuation of today's talk, but I will elaborate for the younger parents, etc. So please inform and bring the maximum people for the inauguration tomorrow. There will be a short talk where I will emphasize and explain these things so that we have the importance of prenatal samskaras, Shishu Vihar, Bal Vihar, Yuva Kendra, please. And those who teach Yuva Kendra, please, you have a very big responsibility. Why the importance of us having satsang groups? Coming to these Jnana Yagnas, listening to discourses and having your discussion groups. You may come with any genes, but don't think that your parents had cancer, you will get cancer. I told you yesterday about this book, Journey into Health. This is a talk I had given to cancer patients. It has touched the lives of many people. I am not publicizing a book, please. What I am going to tell you right now, that how your mind has the effect on the body and how the body and your environment has an effect on your mind. And this psychology is known by those people, and today it's not a country, it is not a religion, it is few who are now know this psychology, that you will become so dependent that it's like hypnotizing. One click and see how the whole world comes to its knees. And that culture that teaches you the holistic way of thinking, independent way of thinking. Why is the world so afraid of it? Because they want you to be like them, that you have no independent thinking. And all in the name of independence. View it, think about it intelligently. If your value systems are good, nobody can cheat you. If your own values are weak, you can be influenced by everybody. Therefore, Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur. Therefore, Krishna calls it as Buddhi Yoga. And how does this Buddhi Yoga take place? Different people explain through different ways. But Krishna calls it as Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga as Buddhi Yoga. And simple thing in our day-to-day actions by which you can create this equanimity of mind, which is called as yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Bring not only efficiency in your action, efficiency in your life as a whole, but achieve much more than material success, and that is the while acting in the world, attain that freedom from your own limiting beliefs and notions, your own limiting self-beliefs, your own vasanas. And therefore, yoga karmasu kaushalam. And first and foremost, simple things. Wherever you are, whatever is your duty, because wherever you are today is not an accident. You chose it out of your desire. Now you might think it's a wrong choice. But that for which you took up this role, perform your duties. In duties, there are no likes and dislikes. In duties, there is no question of what am I going to gain. That's not duty. It is because you have gained. It is because you have gained that you have a duty. You are getting an income from a company. You have got knowledge even from your institution. You are getting spiritual knowledge here. You have got a cultural upbringing in your family. You have a duty. I don't have a duty of a husband. Don't say it's unfair. I am not taking a benefit of a wife. I have no duty towards a wife or a husband. You have taken, and therefore you have a duty. Therefore, when you have the sense of duty, there is no likes and dislikes. What is the vision of our duty? In Bhagavad-Gita and in our Veda and Upanishads of the Vedas, every yajna is done with the attitude Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. In the Bhagavad-Gita, 3rd chapter, and according to our scriptures, you read them very clearly, all these elements, cosmic forces are the devatas, not many gods. Even people of other religion, when they want to convert, they say, don't tell a Hindu that you've got many gods. Any Hindu knows that they don't have many gods except the modern Hindus. After destroying ecology, are you starting a science on ecology? Ecology was a very part of our daily worship. The whole universe is the form of the divine. It's nice to say I get from a God which I don't know, so I can cheat that God. Our God is in every person. Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava, who gives us the privilege to serve, is giving us the benefit to grow. Today we are talking about planting trees, planting trees. We worship trees. We worship even a snake. Today I opened a chocolate bar, dark chocolate. And it is about preservation of owls, preservation of wildlife which is becoming extinct. Do you know whose vehicle is the owl? Lakshmi. In our worship, even ecology is there. Whose ornament is snake? Shiva. Who serves the cow? Our worship integrates ecology, everything. We worship the river, we worship the rain. And if you worship, you make the situation conducive for the rains to come. Haven't you seen Yagyat Bhavati Parjanya? You're talking here. I've come from everywhere, there is a famine and it has rained. Don't underestimate the power of our collective thoughts to create a famine or also to bring rain. We have seen it in the presence of our Gurudev. Therefore, when Krishna says that when you revere the devatas and offer back to nature what you have gained in abundance, if you take a tree, plant a tree. If you eat food, provide for agriculture. You take from society, provide for society. Whatever you have in abundance, share. This is the principle of worship yagna in India. And even if you think that people around you, they didn't do anything, your parents, how do they do? You think the parents are deadliest enemy. When Gita says, your mind is your best friend, your mind is your deadliest enemy. One who masters his mind not only wins over his life, but the whole world is a resource for that person. Entrepreneurship cannot be taught by, learning management. It's a mental attitude. All this is taught in the Bhagavad-Gita. Come for make it happen, I will demonstrate it to you. There and then. Change one thought of your mind against a person. Next day that person will come running to you. Because how much you reflect with your body language. When you've got deviousness in your thoughts, you hide. That makes people suspicious of you. And then you wonder why people are. Simple thing when youngsters come up to me and say, Swamiji, how do I know what is right and wrong? I say, simple. What you cannot tell your parents and do, don't do it. Isn't it? So I was requesting all you parents, don't think that by getting marks that you're developing their intellect. How do you develop the intellect? When the agitating mind is calm, all this is then the Bhagavad-Gita. We study the Bhagavad-Gita and say, very nice, teach us meditation. Prasade sarva dukkhana hani rasyopajayate. What is prasad? And such a person, buddhi avatishta. The intellect becomes steady. Wavering is not intellect. And how does this prasad takes place? When you do your duty and make every action of yours as a worship to the Lord. And Lord is not someone. The service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords. And devotion to the people is devotion to the Supreme Self. 75th year of India's liberation from foreign rule is coming up. India is not just a geographical land. India is not just this or that. It's a complete country of a rich heritage of culture, of various sciences. And samskara or samskriti is not a lifestyle which we call as culture today. Samskriti is that which, again, in English language we say purifies. It means that which develops you to be in harmony with the universe and to be harmonious within yourself. This is what India has given to the world from time immemorial. We have to reawaken our freedom. Therefore, Puja Gurudev, just like our rishis and Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita, our nation is is not just as a geographical country. A nation is built by its people, its culture, its vision, its values, its cooperation, its harmony, and the sense of our pride and identity. And when we have pride in our identity and our country, unlike other countries which are trying to constantly destroy the countries, India has not. That is our rich heritage. That when we respect our freedom, we respect the freedom of others. Otherwise, our freedom is usurped by those who do not want us to be free. Therefore, this 75th year of India's independence, claim your rich heritage. And our dharma incorporates every aspect of our life. It gives us that vast mindset to have a religion that embraces everyone by not saying only there is one God and my God alone is supreme, but that God alone is, and that God is in everyone. तुझ में राम, मुझ में राम, सब में राम समाया. सबसे कर लो प्यार जगत में, कोई नहीं पराया. For us, no one is a blasphemer. No one is a kafir. Everyone is an expression of the Lord. Then where is it that you cannot see divinity? And please understand, oneness is not sameness. There are no two things, no two beings, no two opinions, no two paths the same. But that knowledge which can recognize that golden thread that binds all the different pearls together is our Sanatana Dharma. That which unites is Dharma. That which divides is Adharma. And unity is not sameness. Get out of that delusion. That which unites your mind and intellect. That when your mind is calm, there your intellect can function. Therefore, when you went for your education, along with the Upanayana, the three eternal values of Brahmacharya, Ahimsa and Satya. Brahmacharya, living like a student, preparing yourself for the higher goals that you require, developing virtues and having a certain mastery over your body, your senses and your mind. That is very much part of our education system that should be. Ahimsa. Don't say physical non-violence. If somebody comes and starts trying to kill your children and your wife, ahimsa. If you have to protect yourself from violence, you must be equipped. Today, are we not telling all our girls, don't wait for anyone to protect you. You should be able to protect yourself. And that's what we are taking pride. Are we teaching our girls to go and fight and kill people? or unnecessarily go into fighting. You must be self-sufficient. Non-violence doesn't mean, gade mujhe laat maar, or donkey come and kick me. It means no attitude of hatred, but ever ready to fight against all low tendencies within and without, not with weapons. We say no hatred for others, but we are hating our own people. Is that not hatred? Think about it. Therefore, simple philosophy in life. Do your best, leave the rest. And when acceptance doesn't mean that you accept something wrong. This is what I say. Teach your children to do their best in their studies. Everybody is not academically great. Somebody will be good in sports. Somebody will be good in arts and crafts. Everybody cannot become a doctor, engineer or accountant. But whatever they do to the best of your capacity. And whatever result comes, if you learn to accept it, you're not afraid of failure. If you're not afraid of failure, you can turn your failure into success. That is called as acceptance or prasad buddhi. And when our mind is thus balanced in all situations of our minds, there the intelligence rises. That's why along with the Upanayana and the values that were given to the children, what was given to them was the Gayatri Mantra. A prayer and affirmation of the highest order. Last time I did Gayatri Mantra here? I remember that I had, no? I hope some of you attended. Or before the first to affect. And one of the simplest method that not only removes the agitations of your mind, but enhances your mind with virtues. Because as you think, so you become. And makes your mind single-pointed and focused. And your mind, which is made up of thoughts, transforms into the intellect. They're not separate equipments. And in that intellect, what knowledge we seek, we will get it. And you will not just get information, you will get the insight into it. That's why it is said, a childlike mind can know, a pure mind can know. And purity of mind is not that, you are addicted and all that, those none of you have. But I want, everything should be my way, my opinion. What about me? All this selfishness will come to an end when we serve the people with gratitude. Do you know when we completed our Vedanta course, it is the highest knowledge for the spiritual seeker. Even in the Bhagavad-Gita, for one who has got no desire of his or her own and got nothing to lose, there is no action necessary. But don't bluff yourself. Arjuna, the fact that you want to run away from the battlefield is because you've got likes, dislikes and other desires. And if you say that you are so free of desire, then what are you going to sit in your life? Eat or eat, sleep or sleep, and pretend that you are meditating. If you don't want anything in your life, Loka sangrahamevapi sampashyan kartum arasi. Serve the world. And if you think that while doing such service, your mind is getting agitated, which means you are not serving the world in the spirit of karma yoga or buddhi yoga. Your desire, your likes and dislikes have come in, therefore work. Don't escape from action. Serve the world. And our last parting message by our Guruji was the Acharya in the course that we studied. He said, now this highest knowledge has been given to you. There's nothing more. Go and try to study anything more. What are they going to tell you? Tattvamasi, you know. It is not by reading scriptures after scriptures after scriptures after scriptures after scriptures. One Kathopanishad was enough. Why we do that in our mission? So that we keep refreshing and trying to understand. Otherwise the mind is bored saying, you heard that. Tattva, you already heard it. Attva, you already heard it. Have you understood it? Bhagavad-Gita, deeper you go into it, everything is there. So deeper and deeper study as we go on practicing. And as we live this attitude of doing our best and accepting everything as prasad, balanced in pleasure and pain, joy and sorrow, success and failure, praise and criticism. Your mind, which gets disturbed by this, reaches its natural state, which is peace. And peace doesn't mean no thinking. Peace, and in that peace, that capacity to know beyond your present knowledge, that buddhi, which is not what we understand as intellect, arises. When instantly, spontaneously, that our rishis knew about the laws of nature, by which even Newton discovered gravity. That buddhi arises. Clear? That is our natural state of a human mind. And where does the intellect find its total fulfillment and satisfaction? That will be the theme from tomorrow, after the inauguration, and on the last day of spiritual well-being, spiritual health. It's the simple thing. If we learn to do, everything else. And constant remembrance of the divine, the noble. So mantra japa. Ram, 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 Krishna, 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 Krishna. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Gayatri mantra. Mantra japa mama drida veshvasa Panchama bhajana jo veda prakasa mam anusmara yudhyacha. In the 8th chapter, after all the explanation, Krishna just says simple. Face the challenges of your life, remembering me. That's it. As simple as that. Masucha. You don't have anything to create. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om. Day after tomorrow will be the last day of these sessions. But today only, very briefly, because tomorrow and all the celebration of gratitude, we may not have the time. But you are given this envelope, fill up with your name, address. Many of you, I'm sure, are on the mailing list. Those of you are not, you won't get any junk mail, but be on your mailing list. Normally, there are a lot of services were put with the list has increased so much that now they just give you an envelope with your name and address. But please inquire from our sevaks as to what services Chinmaya Mission is providing here and around the world. Magazines that are available, websites that are available, even for our kids. There's a lot happening which tomorrow and others I will mention about. You all know also what we are doing in the field of education and our university with such a grand vision. I'll speak about it more also as we go on, not just to publicize the university, but to know what should be our vision in education, so that is what we have to all work for. And how do we integrate our Indian knowledge system with modern contemporary knowledge? And bringing the best of it for our present and future generation. Great vision programs are going on. I will talk about it so that you know the Chinmaya Mission, what great work it is doing in your local centers. Even beyond that, what even our village women, while you all are still talking about women rights and women empowerment, if I tell you in the last session what our women in the villages are doing, please don't look at India and say, poor women. They can put you all into shame. That's the work that Chinmaya Mission is doing. And how proudly what they have achieved, even internationally, none of you all have achieved. If I just tell you about it, you will be flabbergasted. But how Gurudev's work is from the most rural village to in every field, from medicine to education to rural development, women empowerment, value-based education, in social framework of the country, providing all fields of knowledge to the world. And therefore all this work of Narayana takes place with the contributions that you come up with. That's why we don't have any demand that you come here, whatever contributions you come up with. And if you have opportunity to give your Guru-dakshina, you can even regularly go on our website and contribute regularly as and when you think out of your gratitude. The work today, even in the villages, as I tell you what we have done, today what is required is in millions. What you have gained in abundance, share it with abundance. However, whatever little or more we give goes in the service of the Lord. So fill it up with your abundance. Or online also you can pay. whatever. But there's no compulsion on anybody. But if you feel grateful for what you have received over the years, not only this session, see that every time you get an opportunity so that Gurudev's this great work of the Rishis continue. Keep making your offerings so that this work continues. And today on the website you can see also what is happening so that you know that what great task lies in front of us, what we are achieving and what more we should be doing. So fill it up with your love. We'll have the Arati.